it, but I know I want to. Maybe if we talk about it, I'll find shit to do. I got a brain somewhere and you got one too. Da-ba-da-da, something, something to be fucking do.
Another week.
Another week.
Another week.
Ultra sunrise. Tastes weird.
How ultra is your sunrise?
Yeah. What does your sunrise taste like?
Bees?
Bees. We always hear the bees, but it's never in the video. And I
No.
don't think you've edited it out, so
No.
don't think you're capable.
Oh.
You had a good week?
Yeah.
I had a weird one. I had a thought. I don't really have thoughts, but...
Okay.
So, I'm a believer in communication. Yeah? So, effective communication, that's what arguments are, is how to find and articulately and effectively communicate an idea.
Right.
I'm also, as Bill Burr mentioned when I wrote into his advice column, a listener of progressive metal.
Yeah.
Which means my use of vocabulary is always a bit weird. Stuff like Nirvana. The
Yeah.
words aren't... It's more the sound of the words rather than the words' meaning that tends to be the most effective thing that's being communicated.
Okay.
Like meat-eating orchids. It's like, oh, that's, it kind of works. Sunburn from freezer burn. It's just like, doesn't really make sense. It's the words, the imagery that you get from the words. So,
Okay.
I think you can... What I like about a conversation or a debate about something is there's a certain collection of words said in a correct way will achieve a positive result. And it's about trying to find what that sentence is.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be words because of Nirvana, right? So I'm pretty sure there's like a frequency of scream that will diffuse all situations.
It always comes back to screaming.
Yeah, but like just, someone's having a go, hey. Ah! All right, yeah, I kind of understand. It must exist. If anything's possible, there must be a thing.
There's got to be,
Makes sense to people.
I guess.
So I'm going to work on it.
I used to try and find the frequency of my sink.
We did that at a house party. Was it a good house party or not? I can't remember.
We were trying to find the frequency of sinks, so probably not.
Yeah. And it was like, I think you said if you get the frequency right, the sink will explode.
But you can feel like an increase in the vibration. It sort of starts to
Explode.
almost feel like distortion in your ears. So if you lean over a sink, it works with the toilet as well.
I thought it was going to destroy it. I didn't realise it was going to get some kind of renaissance.
Resonance. You can find the resonance of your sink. And then you start low and you just go, oh, and somewhere in that, there'll be a certain resonance.
Do you like roller coasters?
That vibrates. Why?
Let's imagine that sound on a roller coaster. Like, oh, it's not resonating. So, hey! If we were in a sink, this would be better.
Yeah. I'd have a much better time in a bathroom.
Yeah. All these people.
Yeah.
Last time I went to Alton Towers, I was sleep deprived.
Okay.
As in GTA 5 came out and I was just played it for 2 days straight and then went to Alton Towers and was like, this is weird. I was just falling asleep on people in the queue. And eating go-ahead apple and cinnamon bars.
I remember
they
those.
were vaguely healthy, but they weren't.
No, not at all.
But
they were
like, if I just
all
eat
sugar.
these,
but yeah, it
I'll be
was
fine.
like they were like, we're like low calorie. It's like those breakfast bars that are just a biscuit.
Just a nice biscuit.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Sometimes it's got applesauce in it.
Yeah. But yeah, if you can solve something by a well structured scream, I think that's perfection.
Well,
No words. It's an animalistic sound. It's probably what Tim Allen was trying to do with all of his domestic arguments.
Oh, the sink's exploded.
Everyone out.
Everyone fix it. Tool time.
Yeah, your marriage is collapsed. No, it doesn't work. But yeah, I'd like to do that.
Yeah,
This
I
is a
think that's
step in.
possible. Well, it's like
As a referee. Ah!
it's that's like a super concentrated thing. It's like dogma. You can't listen to God speak because your head will just explode. You can't understand that language.
Is that what dogma was or is?
No. It's
in the film.
the movie.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like that is
The
what
theory
dogma
is
means.
if God talks to you, you'll just explode.
Yeah.
Like because you can't take in that.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same as
God was also Alanis Morissette, wasn't she?
yes, yeah. Isn't
Does
that
that mean
ironic?
that her music, her music is unlistenable? I don't know. Something.
Potentially. So, but maybe I think you're talking of like an audible version of that. There's a way of transferring data and sound. Like,
USB.
You usually get it from like TVs to like surround sound. Optical.
Serial. Okay.
Where like you plug in an optical cable, and if you look at it, it's just a red light, and it's just like, well, this isn't any data or anything. But when you plug it in, it's like this is meant to be the clearest that sound can be. You're transferring information by light,
At the
except
speed of light.
yeah, except you're doing it with screams.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of information just condensed.
Yeah.
into
Well, it's just
this-
it does give off that effect. I think emotional outbursts do carry with it a message.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out if there's a rational scream that would nullify all aggression.
The message is normally, I'm quite unstable.
Yeah, but if you present it, if you're wearing a suit,
Right, and
or
then
something
you
like that,
scream.
yeah, like I just love screaming, and I want to do more of it. I
You
want to
just need an
more
excuse for it. Yeah.
Not excuse, just I need a research study. Just it needs to be people who I need to find people who are having an argument, and then just go in and start screaming. And I'm convinced that some of it's going to work.
Well, they did that thing at Kiel, didn't they? About pain threshold and swearing.
Okay.
So, if they're apparently swearing while you are going through pain enables you to endure more.
Yeah.
So, like,
But that's because of the emotional release that you're getting through the communication of the pain.
yes, but it has to be a swear word. It can't like they tried it
Well-
with fuck and they tried it with table.
Yeah, but that's because the swear words are articulating that emotion.
Yeah.
Like it's not the reason that
Well,
fuck is
yeah, but
fuck.
you can't just be like damn.
Yeah, but it's not a swear word, is it?
But it's still that it's the same
Darn.
theory. It's a polite swear word.
Gee whiz.
Yeah.
I don't think gee whiz
Gosh.
would work, or damn.
Golly.
Where's the power of that energy coming out your head? You might have to turn my headphones up. I can't hear anything,
Oh.
which is kind of good.
Well, let's turn you down because with all your screaming,
Oh,
you were distorting everything.
there's a little bit coming in now.
Is that up now?
Little bit. You're
Can you
up.
hear now?
I'll have to start screaming again.
I think it's just your headphones because that's like the same level as mine.
It's plugged in-ish. I've just got more bad. Because of more screaming, you get worse hearing.
That makes sense.
Probably what it is.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. All right. Week. Busy week. But yeah, all fun.
Ugh.
Get a message. Try to be organised. We need to have more organised stuff in the podcast. We need to start. But like, yeah, might try and do an outing to pro wrestling for you.
Yeah, that
'Cause-
sounds like fun.
Yeah,
And
I
Vix
met them
was up
at
for coming as well.
the Stoke Trent and a chat with them. They seem like pretty cool people.
Yeah.
And I've seen some amateur wrestling and I've loved it. So it's like, yeah, give it a go. You're more wrestling-y with your goo t-shirt.
Goo.
Yeah, goo. Go.
Go.
Go Modeo or something.
Hideo.
it's classic Inspector Gadget shirt that he wears everywhere.
Go Hideo. Body slam.
Yeah. Are you a phone case guy? Are you trapped within a phone case? Do you like? I've seen so many adverts. Starting off rocky, but we'll get there. Right, I've seen so many
All over the
adverts
place.
about like
Screaming phone cases.
like there's been like this phone case is indestructible. Look, we dropped it from a plane. You're like,
See
well,
that shit. It was-
why?
Why did
are
you
you
do that?
doing this? Like,
Are you planning on falling from a plane?
it's about idiot. I guess it's just people who drop their. I don't break my phone. My phone's a little bit cracked, but not really. But I imagine the people who do get their phones cracked are largely drunk and out at night
Yeah.
and trying to use their phone to do things and breaking it. I imagine that's where most phones get broken. So maybe they're targeting people who are young enough to do old enough to do it legally, but young enough to do it while still having a hopeful
I don't
optimism
get
of the world.
I've never broken my phone.
Never.
Ever. No.
And you're on your phone a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've dropped it on my face quite a few times.
Dropped it, self-inflicted, whatever. Just anything to end the darkness.
Yeah, but no, I've never smashed the screen. I've never done any of that shit. But like,
Yeah.
I've got like it's called Gorilla Glass. It's like just a very very thin plate of glass. So
Yes, you've got a protective case on it.
there's a film of protection on it, but yeah, people that fucking smash their phones. I don't understand how you do it. I have dropped my phone before, but never with enough violence to actually warrant paying 80 quid for someone else to fix it.
But yeah, I'd say at least 20% of all adverts I see are for a phone case.
Yeah.
It's like, I've never got... I think I bought one when I got my phone, but it's not like a protective case, just a case.
There was a guy opposite me in a place I used to work that had his phone in something called an OtterBox, which is like... It's a brand of case, and it's like it's a it's just it makes it like twice the size that it should be.
Yeah,
and you can't hear through it. Like he had to take his phone out of the case to use it. So it's like, well, what's the fucking point?
got to dig it out of the ground before you can actually do anything with it.
I think everyone's trying to get back to that thing of like when you were in your teens and you had a Nokia and they were just fucking indestructible.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, well, I just can't understand why.
I used to have one of those, like, it was the everyone had the 3210, and I had one of those orange ones that was like cased in rubber.
Right.
And people are always just like, "Oh, those are
basketball.
great." It was it was I don't know. You saw a lot of builders with them, and people are like, "Oh, you can get that and you can throw it and it'll bounce." And they used to do it, and I don't understand why.
It's a good way to hang up on someone.
Yeah, watch this.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, it's over. Bang. Yeah. Woo. You're in a lake.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but just
seems odd.
Just be careful with your stuff. I
guess.
guess.
Just chill out. Just relax.
Yeah.
Running around, maybe.
Dropping it in the toilet. Dropping it in the bath. Like people, the amount of fucking water damage shit. It's like, again, I don't understand. What?
Yeah.
I've used my phone in the bath. Never come close to dropping it.
I want to get one of those baseball cap phones.
That camera's just died.
It's good.
Great. All right, and we're back.
Yeah, we're good. Probably should address your lack of professionalism. No, you're drained emotionally because you're going through a tooth thing.
Yeah. No, I had the rest of the root canal done yesterday, and they said, well, it's a major procedure, which I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So you're going to be in pain for a while until it stops.
I had that though.
Yeah.
How long? Like a week or 2 weeks?
I guess. Maybe a week or two. Yeah, but they haven't crowned it either, so they haven't. It's meant to have a hat.
Yeah.
To stop.
They put the powder in it.
Yeah, they filled it, but they haven't put the hat on it. So at the minute when I'm eating, it's like a guy walking around in a rock slide.
Yeah.
With his head like open. It's just like it's just fucking painful.
Yeah, I had one guy. When I was going through my whole tooth thing. Yeah, that powdery thing, which is like tastes horrible. One guy just didn't allow me to rinse, so I was just filled with dust. I was like, this is a bad time.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll come here again. It really has given me an aversion to dentists now. Where I'm just like, I would rather not. I don't want to talk to any of you. I'd rather die.
I'm not sure I've gotten that far.
Yeah, well, you've got stuff to live for.
Yeah, to be fair, like, I found it weird. I didn't think about it the first time I went, but there's a point in the procedure where they're fitting a dam, which is like they put a clip over your tooth and then they get this big balloon thing and stretch it over your face. And during that, there are two people with both hands in your mouth.
You don't like shaking hands at the best of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm completely out of sorts.
Yeah, just fucked.
Yeah.
So let's get this podcast started.
Good.
Now that the cameras are on.
That's good.
Redactions.
Oh, okay.
I've got some redactions to make.
We need a theme for this.
I started trying to put a video together and it didn't quite work.
Oh,
so
right.
I've got some ideas.
Was it something racist again?
No, it was just I couldn't get the music right for redactions. All I want is just like redacted. And that's all I want. It's just like a stamp going redacted. Okay. And the first thing I found was like a mysterious man stamping something and putting it in his pocket and then walking away. It's like a 10-second thing of all I want is redacted. I want something that's like half a second long.
Oh,
so I'm working on something.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got some redactions this week. Last week we spoke about, is a bartender responsible for serving alcohol to a mass murderer?
Right.
Right. When you think about it, I guess, yes, they are. Because I was like, oh, it's not their fault if they serve someone who's intoxicated, for example.
Yeah.
Because they might not be able to tell, and it would be like the establishment that would be responsible.
Yeah.
Right? But then if you think about it, they can't like serve a 3-year-old. You can't, if you're a bartender, you're not allowed to serve a 3-year-old.
No.
And it's not that the business will get in trouble. It will, but you'll be in trouble because you are legally responsible for who you give this poison to.
Yeah.
So I guess if you can't give it to a kid, then yeah, you can't give it to a knife-wielding psychopath.
Yeah, I suppose if you know the guy's got a knife.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, even if there's my belief was like, oh, there must be some kind of grey area where it's like it's not you giving it to him, you're giving it to him on behalf of the pub or whatever you're working in. But it's like, no, it's you. If you work for the police and you shoot someone, it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's the police's responsibility because they're responsible for you, but you're also responsible for yourself. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a.
I suppose if
grey
you
thing.
see a guy with like a wild look in his eyes and a butterfly knife doing all that fucking shit,
Yeah, I
you
mean, this
can't
was like
just
a
be like, I
5.5
know what this
inch.
guy needs. Jameson.
Yeah. He needs what's that weird like mothers? You know what I mean? There's like a hazelnut liqueur and it's got like a little lady on it, like maple syrup. What's that maple syrup with a woman on it?
Aunt Jemima. Is it
yeah.
Aunt Jemima?
I think that's the maple syrup one, I think.
Okay.
But there's one in The Simpsons. That's probably
Mrs. Butterworth.
Yeah, like something like that. It's
Yeah.
like something like that, but alcoholic.
Yeah.
Give that to maniacs.
Yeah.
It'll calm down.
Yeah.
Other redactions.
Hey, wait, no,
Oh.
you do give alcohol to babies and young things. They used to.
Like a daiquiri?
To no, not like a margarita. Like, but like
He's upset. His martini was too dry.
to soothe them, like
To drug them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you were saying to me earlier, like whiskey helps. Like as
Yeah.
far as tooth pain goes, it's like similar thing for knife crime.
Yeah, soothe that inner turmoil with a Bex. In other redactions,
Yeah.
I suggested that a large coat filled with bees, like trying to work at a post office.
Great suggestion.
Yeah, it couldn't work because they couldn't lick the stamps clean. They couldn't lick the stamps to put them on. I think.
They can lick things.
Yeah, I thought they could. They got weird like dragonfly.
They've got
tongues or
like
something.
it's like a tube, and then a tongue comes out the end of it.
Yeah, but can you
I've
imagine?
been feeding a lot of bees.
So like 700 bees in this coat.
Yeah.
And all of them just it's not appropriate.
Mm.
You couldn't have one, you have to have 7 and get into I want to do it. And
Yeah.
it wouldn't work.
Yeah, and plus there's a lot of complication now with it's a lot of coordination between forming the mouth and the vocal cords
Yeah.
in order for them to talk.
No, they just buzz.
Oh, right,
So
so
that
they-
perfect scream.
Oh, right. Okay, so they communicate in this frequency.
Yeah.
That makes
It's
sense.
just they're looking at the stamps I wasn't sure about.
Yeah.
In
But
other
also, why would they walk? Not
they
how.
just
Why?
Dalek around.
Yeah,
Roll around.
you just yeah. So why wear a coat? Just be bees. Be
Well,
yourself.
You can't be naked in a post office. I've found out.
Sorry. Further redaction.
So further redactions, Miranda rights. They're hilarious.
Miranda's rights.
Yeah, they're hilarious, and I said they were just funny. The
Right.
more I've thought about it, the more hilarious Miranda rights are.
Okay.
The more there is a little bit of performance theatre that you need to you have to experience before you go into prison, like a summer camp, like where you go there and they do like a mini apprenticeship, like a thing you have to experience in order to go on to the full career. And it's like you have to listen to this person's performance of "And I Will Always Love You," and then you can go to prison. It's like, well, he didn't sing the song. I can't go if you didn't sing the song.
You only sang one verse.
Yeah, and the whole thing, isn't it? I don't. Is it a thing in the UK? I think it is.
Yeah, there's a lot. There is always a
Yeah.
lot to do with what they have to say to you in order
Yeah.
to arrest you.
But it's not that they have to say it to you. You have to hear it.
Yeah.
That's where the onus is, I think, because you can't say it to someone who doesn't speak English, right?
It's like shotgun rules. You can't say it until you can see the chair.
What?
That's shotgun rules, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Miranda rights.
Yeah. With Miranda
can't
rights, you can't say it unless they can hear it. So you can't just be
Right.
sitting in the police car being like, you have the right to remain silent, and then
Yeah,
get
yeah.
out and arrest him. Like,
What
yeah.
the fuck? yeah. Yeah, they have to hear it and they have to understand it. So, like, think of it like a song. They have to get it on a specific level, rather than just the
Can
words.
you name that tune in 3?
Yeah, you're going to prison. Just you have to experience. You have to be an audience member.
Yeah.
Before you become a prisoner. It just seems like it's such a surreal thing that I understand, because they're basically saying, you know, you should get a lawyer.
Yeah.
Or we'll give you one. It's a weird threat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get one, or we'll get one for you. All right. I want a friend. Yeah, and then it just seems like a weird thing. I think it should be put into more use in more places. I think Miranda Wright's style, if enforced amateur dramatics everywhere, in order to do certain things. What you want to cut up your credit card? Well, you've got to see this long form musical theatre piece first. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's keep the arts alive.
But if you, I started reading *Sapiens*. I haven't finished reading it, but the more
Snakes.
*Sapiens*, it's a good book. The
Not
more he
Serpians.
talks about it, it's like he's like,
Is that the Tribes guy?
yeah, it's just like everything that we do in everyday life is based on rules that we've all just kind of decided are there, and they don't actually exist. Like a corporation.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't exist. Like, and bits of writing on a paper doesn't make that thing exist. It's just like you've now told a story of what a corporation is. Like, and I think everything's kind of like that, but we've all agreed with it, and now it's all just normal.
Yeah. Well, there's because
It's difficult. You can't go down that path too far, because you become an anarchist, and you're like, well, now nothing exists, and people just go crazy. I think you need
Which is how
rules
you
to a certain
interpret it.
extent, but it does soothe you in a sense, because it's just like, well, like it stops you worrying about debt and stuff like that, because it's just like, well, it's just numbers. Like it's not really a thing.
Well, my thing at uni when I
Get
started,
me into trouble.
there was, because I did a philosophy course, and there was loads of political, social justice-y people on it who were like, fuck Tony Blair, and like they're against the war in Iraq. And I was like, well, you don't know the war in Iraq's happening, do you? It's like, oh yes I do, because the media told me. And you don't like the media, do you? No, you shouldn't believe anything the media says. Okay, so you don't know that the war in Iraq's actually happening, do you? Oh well, I saw it in the media, so it doesn't mean, just because it doesn't necessarily exist doesn't mean you should treat it that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's just knowing that everything is questioned.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and most people just cannot deal with it. They just freak the fuck out. It's like, no, it's like, yeah, but you should. If you believe in a god or not, it doesn't mean that there is one. Doesn't mean there isn't one. But you should understand that it's a concept, just like a corporation's a concept or anything is an idea. But most people go, no, it's got to be gospel or nothing. All right, okay, fucking Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
Do you like it? Show BBC. The Benedict Cumberbatch
I think I've only
series.
seen a couple of them. I didn't mind it. It was like an upmarket Jonathan Creek.
Yeah. But I think that's what BBC shows are. That's what I was realising. Is there I watched like some of the Sherlock Holmes because it was just on Netflix, and I ran out of shows for a bit. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, I don't like it. Yeah. But yeah, it did feel very Jonathan Creekish in terms of that kind of BBC humour, which can be quite good. Yeah. But it just feels like a lot of these shows feel like a lot like other BBC shows. Yeah. Like, what was it? Hustle. Hustle was quite good. I think that was BBC.
I never watched Hustle. That was
when I was at uni.
You used to watch that at uni, I remember.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, that seems quite good here and there. And what's the other one I started watching? Safe, with Michael C. Hall. It's a Netflix show, but it's so weird.
Oh, I was looking at that for ages. I wasn't sure.
It's surreal because it's Michael C. Hall's a great actor. Yeah,
you just like. Shouldn't you be killing people?
And I think, is it Mark Warren? I think Mark Warren. I can't. He's a great actor. I forget his name. He was in Hustle. That's what sparked that. Yeah. Another great actor, and the show is Michael C. Hall doing an English accent, and it's this way the script is written. It's almost like it's a learn an English accent script. So it's saying words, and it's just like, Mike, just be American for a bit. I don't know. It's just like some of the script is like, oh yeah, burgers. Yeah, I love burgers. It's like, why are you eating? Why is this in this? Is it just to get people in character because they need to do their what's that? Get those accents in their head by saying a certain phrase.
Yeah,
gets them in the rhythm.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
burgers.
Yeah, and it was like it's just like it's so strange seeing it because he's brilliant, and you see like other things with him in it. You're like, oh, this is great, and then you're like, this is you're doing a good American English accent, but it sounds off because of the script, I guess.
I never finished Dexter.
Weird. I saw something on.
I'm maybe 2 seasons behind finishing.
It's good. People hated the last season. I hated it.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, the more it's like, well, it makes sense. They had to do all of these things because there's certain television rules and film rules that have to be abided by if they're on a broadcast network. Yeah. It's like Dexter's. I'll think of an example. You can't have a good abortion in a show. I don't know, because that's what the network says.
Oh, thank God for that.
Yes, it can't work out this way. It can't work out that way. And it wasn't particularly satisfying. It wasn't climactic, but it kind of tied off everything and be like, well, that's what happened. Yeah. And it kind of made sense. Because, like season 4 with the Trinity Killer was awesome. And then after that, it was like, you don't feel like you've beaten this, but it's like, well, they had to explore some other things.
You had Trinity, and then there was the what's her name? Was it Julia Stiles? And the Colin Hanks one, I didn't finish that. Yeah, that
was okay. Yeah, it was all right.
Just
had to explore different elements of Dexter. I was quite a big Dexter fan. I read some of the books and got into it. It's a good story. Yeah, but it did feel like it felt like after season 4, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then it was like, why is no one addressing what was happening? Because what's going on? Yeah, but it was like, well, they've got to discover this part of Dexter, this part of Dexter, this part of Dexter, and now you can finish Dexter. It was a weird thing. It was quite cool. Anyway, and one other redaction was Frank Burton.
That's a fair point.
I just didn't want to do it. He wasn't very good, and he's not a very good person. I think he's pulling down the podcast in a number of ways.
Yeah, let's not do it again.
No, so I kind of feel like he should kind of be wiped off the face of the earth.
Guys. Frank Burton from the Ragbag podcast here.
Right, okay.
First of all, you're an absolute disgrace. That's the first thing I wanted to say. Okay. Secondly, all I said was you look alike because you've both got beards. I didn't say a word about you being bald.
Like
I would never criticise someone for being bald. Male pattern baldness is a horrific, disfiguring, incurable illness. And you both have my sympathy. It's good that you've got each other. Little 2-man support group there.
So jealous.
And what's all this stuff about? You wouldn't have said that if we were both black. As far as I know, you both are. That's right. I'm totally colourblind. Now who's causing offence to the disabled community? And as for that thing you brought up about Lenny Henry, I don't know how you managed to find out about that. I spent a lot of money ensuring it doesn't come up on Google searches, so thanks for bringing it back to light. Good job no one's listening.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, yeah.
But you told the story all wrong.
Jibe.
You didn't consider the context, so it came off sounding like I committed some kind of hate crime.
Yep.
Yes, I did spit on Lenny Henry.
Right.
But first of all, it wasn't saliva. I had a mouthful of 7-Up. Secondly, it was nothing to do with him as a person. I mean, I love Lenny. Who doesn't love Lenny? Not a hate crime. It's a love crime, if anything. He just happened to be the official spokesperson for the hotel chain Premier Inn at that time.
It's a good reference.
And my actions were a direct response to a very unsatisfactory customer service experience in Exeter. Long story. 7-Up related, hence my retaliation. You'll find the full account on TripAdvisor should you care to look, but then you'll probably get the wrong end of the stick again. Anyway, thanks for the shout out for the Ragbag podcast. I like it apart from the host, indeed. I'll tell you what, lads.
Accurate.
I like pulling teeth apart from the hosts. Oh, what's that you say?
Good.
That's all the podcast consists of? Jesus Christ, just you two? For hour after hour? 130 odd episodes, each of them roughly the same length as a spell of influenza and only slightly less enjoyable. They should use your show as a torture technique down at Guantanamo. They really should. That'll get them talking. Oh, waterboarding came up with nothing. How about 135 back-to-back episodes of Pulling Teeth podcast? Anyway, thank you very much for your time. Cheers. Peace out.
Oh no, I remember your first joke. That is auto-played onto the next song. Yeah, so cheers, cheers, Frank.
It's a lot of bitterness piled into like
3 minutes of dead air. If you want more of it,
yeah, go listen to the
go listen to
Ragbag
his. It's
podcast.
fine. Yeah, he seems alright. He seems to be perfectly proud of spitting a mouthful of lemonade
Yeah,
and lime.
I am
into
quite
a cigarette.
impressed that he only ever gets bouts of flu for an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Apparently,
Well, I imagine hanging around him at any kind of microbial level
yeah,
would be difficult, even if it was an hour.
yeah. Maybe it's from the perspective of his guests. Spending time with him for an hour feels like the flu.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like I got to a point last week where I was saying that he wasn't born; he was ripped out of a shit-covered wall by a homeless man.
Yeah.
I think that was quite a good, setup. But throw that
Yeah,
in.
and now to you.
Yeah, and he's just kind of just replied with, "Well, I'm just going to talk for 3 minutes."
I actually quite like Lenny Henry. Well, nobody else does.
Yeah, good reference though.
Yeah.
Premier Inn.
Yeah.
He
that's
did
good.
raps as well, Lenny Henry.
Yeah, it did in the 80s, back when Ragbag was relevant.
Yeah, back before it was easily accessible, and that's where it belonged. Where it was very difficult to
Yeah.
get hold of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, before when there was like 4 channels and none of them in their right mind would allow him on them.
Yeah. I wouldn't wish like leprosy is strong just because I feel like that's contagious, and I feel like part of the burden of leprosy is not being able to be around anybody. But I think he already suffers from that anyway. So I think some kind of he said influenza.
Normally it's your
whatever.
limbs that fall off. I assume with him it's half of his brain.
Yeah, half his brain, personality, and just charm. Anything that people would enjoy in a podcast fell off of him,
Yeah.
and now he carries on.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, try and redact that. Try it out. When does Arrival? I was trying to think about this because we've been trying to think about potential guests and stuff like that, and I'd like to maybe have an interview with Frank Burton, but I don't know if I want to be in the same room as him.
No, we could be. We could do like a
surprise murder. Invite him round, murder him,
Oh right, like
and interview the corpse.
yeah. No. Like one of those prison shows where you're face to face, but you talk through a phone.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It would interview people that we don't like. We put a brick wall separate. And if we don't want to ask him a question, just hang up. No, keep talking. It's probably fine. Yeah, we've asked you your questions. And leave. Divider. Fucking yeah, that's a good idea. Anyway, in other news, quick fire stuff. An elderly man has died after a woman pushed him off of a bus for asking her to be nicer. Can you be nicer, please? No. Now he's dead. So I just saw that just before the podcast started. I was like, that's
He died.
dead. Can you be nicer, please? No. Well, he got his answer. That's effective communication that she didn't even have to say no. Just by going, ah!
Yeah.
He probably would have gotten the
It's your scream, but in the hand.
yeah. If my scream could push an old man off a bus. I think he was like 70. It's not like, can you be nice? No, I don't feel like. How about I murder you and see if that answers your question? Yeah, she just walked away. It's like shoved him, got off the bus, and walked away, and he died. Yeah. In other cultural commentary news, are you an accent person? Do you? Is there certain accents that cut you the wrong way or cut you the right way?
Maybe there isn't.
Like some that you hear and you go like, oh, just or unattractive at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some like the.
Maybe two.
What's the,
Two.
what's the one that's kind of like around?
Circular.
It's around Manchester somewhere, and instead of
Right.
no, they say no.
Oh, I don't know.
That one.
I'm very bad with locations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. All
No.
right.
Oh,
The
no.
Stoke accent was
Or
always a
some
bit
shit.
weird.
Yeah, that's I'm immune to that now. Like I'm fine with that.
Does that extend to Liverpool as well? You're immune to the Scouse accent?
I don't mind the Scouse accent, but it depends on. that depends on the quality of the voice.
The quality of person.
Like, because you can get some that sound like they've been smoking a million fags a day when they're like 5 years old. And then you get some where it's quite kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's kind of like pleasant to listen to.
I think accents, I think voices are important. I've spoken before ages ago when I first kind of discovered what ASMR was. And I was like, I think that's me.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense to me on some level. And then as I kind of dug through it more and more, it was like, it's not really ASMR the core of what it is, where like people like the sound of like scratching on a blackboard or eating a pickle. It's just, there are certain sounds that I find detestable. I just go, I don't enjoy this. And there's some that I find very detestable. Not
detestable, but always really silly is the West Country accent.
Yeah.
I cannot take it seriously at all. Like
bad priest
the Farmer Giles, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. We're all going to die. It's just, it's never not funny.
Well, the reason that I bring this up is that apparently there was a vote done, I forget what it is, about the sexiest accent in the UK. And number 1 was Essex.
No.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah.
I'm the sexiest accent in the world.
Like Russell Brand.
Yeah.
No.
The only thing I can think of is that they specifically voted this for male accents. Because I don't know about male accents, whatever would be attractive. But all I know is that a female Essex accent is pretty ugly. Not in all cases, obviously, but just as general, there are some horrific Essex accents.
Yeah.
And I was just surprised at the rankings of it. And I go, I'm at the complete opposite end of all of this.
Yeah.
Like one of them's the Bristol accent was like 45th. Which is like Bath, which is kind of West Country accent.
I used to have an English teacher that that spoke with it was a Bristol accent, but it wasn't like it wasn't that West Country UR stuff. It was just I don't know what it was, the quality of it or whatever, but like her reading, like I would literally just fall asleep in the classroom.
Yeah, but I see that as possible, not in like a negative response.
It was positive. It was very positive. It was just soothing.
That's the only thing I can think of is maybe this is all about male accents, because you don't necessarily, I guess male accents don't want to be soft and gentle in that kind of warming way.
Yeah.
Maybe they want more stupid or aggressive.
Yeah.
Like I think Cockney's quite high up.
Yeah.
But Cockney for me is obviously like a local thing. Like where I was growing up. So, Cockney kind of makes sense to me.
Girls that I've known always seem to like Scottish accents.
Yeah. Well, these are the rankings. So number 1 is Essex. Number 2 is Northern Irish, which for me is like, the Northern Irish accent is okay, but the Southern Irish accent is much better.
Northern Irish, what are you doing?
You're in Belfast. It's that kind of, weird. I never found it like, isn't that attractive? But yeah. Everyone's attractive. I'm not saying that you're not attractive if you don't have an accent that is on this list.
No, I used
but they are.
I had some like Northern Irish friends at uni, and most of the time you couldn't understand what they were saying. Like, they were talking about the throat.
Yeah, but it's like never, in terms of aesthetics, and they've been like, that's sexual in some way. Glaswegian is 3rd. Queen's English, sexy. That queen.
Yes.
Look at her walking around. It's all sexy. 5th is Mancunian. 6th is Scouse. 7th is Geordie.
Geordie, now, his...
Oh, yeah. I'm positive for the Geordie.
I quite like the Geordie accent. The interesting thing is that call centres will try and fill themselves with Geordies, because apparently it's a very soothing accent to be on the other end of the phone to, and it helps distill a lot of situations. Distill, like you know what I mean. Like it helps to apparently like have an argument with Ross Noble. Yeah, talking about his meat flaps.
Yeah. But whatever's going on. Yeah, it just seems strange to me. It seemed weird that it's like the world has changed. Like I never thought that Essex was a big sexually attractive
it's not
accent.
That's just wrong.
Yeah, the only thing I think of is it's people who like the show The Only Way is Essex.
Yeah,
it's that kind of demographic, and that demographic is usually female, so that maybe that's more towards a male accent. I don't know.
I never like these ranking things though. Like I don't know if they're designed to be controversial or if they're just polling stupid people.
Yeah.
Like they
only stupid people take polls, is my belief.
Well, maybe, yeah. Like I saw
Like answering a cold call.
apparently Channel 5 did one ranking crisps and they put squares like nearly dead last, and I was just like, you're having a laugh. You're insane.
Well, I haven't had squares for a very long time.
Squares, the crunch on a square is fantastic.
Yeah, but the crunch.
We used to
kettle
rate
chip.
the crunch.
Yeah, kettle
That was-
chips.
Yeah.
What was it? There was a
Kettle chips again weren't too far up. They made a pyramid of crisps.
But yes, we did rate the crunch, but you rated that crunch in a fridge
Yeah.
because you put crisps in the fridge
Uh,
and you put salad in an oven, and but yeah, why? Yeah, because that's a belief of yours. Yogurt in the
I
whisk.
think it's in all likelihood it's complete bollocks, but for some reason when a crisp is colder it feels crunchier to me.
Probably. In other kind of related news, a thread on Reddit has gone viral.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. This is the article saying this. And the quote and the question is: what are some signs that girls give to boys that they like them, that they are obvious to girls but totally not obvious to boys? And I understand the confusion, but you kind of have to go. It's basically what kind of subtle things. So what's a subtle thing that we were grown up with? If you're touching your hair when you're talking to somebody, if there's a girl touching her hair and laughing at your jokes and touching your arm,
Yeah.
then that means that they're contractually obligated to have sex with you. Something like that, right?
Yeah.
That was like the...
And if
those
they're
are
clawing at your eyes trying to get away.
Yeah, that's a show of affection.
Yeah.
But this is like, those are the social signals to show someone you're attracted to them that you do subconsciously. And you go like, oh, so what's the rules now? I mean, there's people, I laugh at people's jokes and I'm not necessarily attracted to them. It's like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you need to, it's not that's what happened before we were more communicative and open about conversation and relationships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now you have to kind of be like, I'm like, yeah, it's not enough for a subtle signal to be something to risk your whole life over.
Yeah, like you don't have to. You that's a stupid way of looking at it. As far as the laughter is concerned, like it's not considered a signal that they find you attractive. It's considered a signal that you're capable of you are
Capable
compatible in some way.
I
Which
mean,
is
I've had
why they
people-
then show further interest in you. It's not like, oh, she's laughing, she must think I'm fit. Like that's not.
She likes my elbows.
Yeah.
No,
like-
I've people who don't laugh at my jokes. I've known who are also unattractive to me.
Yeah.
And they've been like, yeah, that didn't land at all, and I can feel the venom. So it's probably not. It's probably not working.
Yeah.
But you can laugh and joke with everybody. I was making jokes with the. Sometimes I'm a functioning social member of society.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I don't know what it is. I think it's just something funny. The ice has to break in some way.
Yeah.
There's a petrol station I come to on the way here to grab a bite to eat and a drink, and the people in there, we had a random funny encounter once where I think they were pointing over at something, and I walked in and they're pointing at me. I was like, "Oh, you pointing at me?" And that was like hilarious. And so it just started a dialogue. We started chatting. It's like, oh, they're laughing. We start laughing. So I had a conversation with them. I would never do that with anyone else.
No.
Because there's a wall, and that wall can only be broken by someone pointing at it. Oh. So yeah, you're meant to laugh not only in sex, but like in social situations.
Yeah.
It's definitely become more difficult to understand what people's thoughts are because people aren't as repressed.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell if someone's coming on. You can still tell if people have feelings about somebody. If you don't like somebody, if someone doesn't like you, you can usually pick up. We've got a mutual acquaintance who's a friend of yours who I'm pretty sure does not like me at all.
Right.
Which is fine. I'm totally fine with it. But it's just really weird to have like a conversation. Be like, hey, I'm just here to kind of. I'm not interested in a friendship, so I'm here to keep the wheels moving. So and you just need to pick up on these cues a bit more and work with them, but it's the cues on themselves aren't the only thing. For every woman talking about a guy missing an obvious signal, there's another woman talking about her friendliness is mistaken for flirting. You laughed at his jokes because you're interested. Another woman laughed because it was a funny joke. And they've said, unless you've got his dick in your mouth, there's no signal. That's pretty extreme. pretty extreme.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, it
I don't
depends.
know.
Is it a laugh? It's how you read it. Like,
It's
are
it's
you
not
just
an
laughing at
answer.
a joke, or do you get that thing sometimes that's just like, it wasn't that funny.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
laughing
yeah,
a bit,
yeah.
like, you
Where
know what
you
I
make
mean?
a joke, it's not very funny, but they laugh too much because they're trying to laugh at your joke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, that's I think that's maybe where that comes from.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just, I think it's a confusing time. I mean, now I don't, like, when it comes to communication, I do definitely still pick up on little changes just because I like human behavior and I find that stuff interesting. So, like, why has she decided to sit on my sofa instead of the sofa over there? Maybe there's something in there. But it's never been like, oh, that means I can have sex.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're like 16, you're just desperately probably looking like,
Yeah.
she's laughing.
Yeah.
She might be laughing at me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's have sex. Jeez, chill out, man. It's all fine. Everything's fine. Cool. That was that brief thing about social commentary. Some audience participation.
Oh.
And India has banned porn sites, but then they were forced to reopen them because they lost so much money. Like 70% of their revenue came from advertisements in porn.
Wow.
Like yeah, I guess like if you had servers there and the websites you had would result in some kind of revenue, and you removed all porn from it, you'd just be losing all of it's losing everybody.
I always find this stuff really strange, because on the face everyone's just like, yes, it's a good idea to ban porn or whatever, or to put these restrictions on it because people might get into trouble, and then in the behind the scenes it's just like everyone's getting really kind of pent up and just like, well, where am I going to watch my porn now? Like I think there's
Go in the street,
people
look in windows.
For some reason people are still too embarrassed to defend porn.
Yeah, in a weird way. But again, I think it's people don't know what they want. People don't think things through.
Yeah.
My whole opinion about the society at large when it comes to sex is that people don't know what they want, and they just want some kind of tangible experience of it, and that's all they want. That's why I've been talking about like there's people who are like, oh yeah, don't wear condoms because condoms ruin sex. Like, yeah, I think you're having bad sex, mate.
Yeah.
I think you're thinking of sex as being a physical experience.
Yeah.
Whereas it's an intellectual experience. It just takes a while for it to get to that point.
Yeah.
Like it's an emotional experience rather than more than a physical thing.
Yeah.
The physical thing is going to be the same, A, B, or C, but the thing that changes it is the environment. That's what Nature versus Nurture was about. It was like, who were you fucking? What was the scent of the room? Was the big? I said that I'd have sex in a house fire just to see what it would be like.
Yeah.
And I think that would be an interesting sexual experience rather than no sex with somebody who's got 3/4 length hair.
I remember
Seems
in an
weird.
early episode when we were talking about Russia banning porn, you said you'd like to have sex with a river.
Cubba! No, but yeah, I think most people, they get so right. Yeah, I had a thought the other day. That's what I think. That's what happens when I have a think. Yeah, someone was watching a politician give a speech, and they were telling me afterwards that it was a good speech.
Yeah.
And I was like, what did they talk about? And they had no idea. And it was just being in the room, that atmosphere, and that's probably 90% of people. They just kind of sat there, and they're kind of picking up on these subtle scientific screams, and that's kind of giving them the information that they want. They're not listening to the words or anything that's going on. It's like, I trust this person, so I will follow this person. They didn't know what the policies or anything like that was. And I think that's people most of the time about anything. When it comes to sex, I think most people are just like, I had sex once and it was really good, so I want to have sex again.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to pursue a passion of some kind. They're just like, well, I just do this, and this is how it is.
Yeah.
I collect stamps because I've always collected stamps. Like, oh, is it your passion? No.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Just kind of bumbling through, and most people, everybody does it about some stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think there's some people who do it more than others.
That's the thing. I think if people had a choice, said, look, you can either be really smart or really charismatic, most people would choose charismatic.
Right.
Because you can be really smart and people still won't listen to you.
that's the thing about this Sherlock show, is it's meant to be this it's presented as something that's highly intellectual, as Sherlock as a character. And it's just like, I'm sure it's not even like, oh, he's smart or whatever, but the way the character's portrayed is like, no, he's just this really insecure guy who's really desperate to prove he's clever to everybody. And the stuff that he's figuring out and the riddles are quite dumbed down as a show. In terms of like, if you understand any television format, like what is it? Any murder mystery. Oh, well, we saw them in the first scene, so it was them.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a lot of that where you're like, well, and the riddles that come into it are very much like, yeah, but the people there aren't there to kind of fix a puzzle or do anything like that.
Yeah.
They're just there to kind of be around characters that seem to be quite charismatic and quite intellectual, regardless of what's going on.
Yeah.
They just want to have that feeling of watching an intellectual show or something. So I think people do that when they're with politics and with anything, and just kind of drift along doing stuff, which means they don't really get stuck into something.
Yeah.
And I think sex is a big one where people just kind of go, oh, yeah. Did you go out last night? Well, I had sex. It was all right. That's one of the sexiest accents in the world. And it's like, okay, well, you had sex. Brilliant. I mean, there's someone I know whose like favorite thing to do is to make dick jokes. You're like, okay, I get it. But it's not a joke to me. You're saying, all you're saying is that one of his, like, you're basically saying he's got a long thumb.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
The thumb's long. What's the joke? It's like, well, we're talking about dicks, aren't we? It's like, all right.
Okay.
Fair enough. But yeah, India, don't bomb. They unbanned them as well because they were losing up to 70% of their revenue. In other news, a Queensland man accused of rape has had the charge dropped after a woman realised that she forgot she gave consent. I just forgot. Admittedly, it was for good reason, like she's got post-traumatic stress disorder. So, like,
because she had sex with him?
Yeah, just like, but it's one of those freaky things that like, I just forgot. Genuinely forgot. Okay, cool. But please remember before you make these charges, but then she should make the charges if she thought. But yeah, just a scary thing of how fickle the legal system could be.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot that it was legal. Okay, fair enough. She's also got a high-functioning alcohol issue where she consumes a fair bit of alcohol every day, and that plays a part in her mental health and her mind and state and perception of things. So it doesn't sound like the best person stable-wise.
No, probably would not let her buy a drink.
No, yeah. Even if she didn't have a knife.
Yeah.
After the rape charges were withdrawn, the man involved pled guilty to common assault because during the case that he like pushed her onto a sofa in a passionate way and she hurt her back a bit. But he did it. He pleaded guilty immediately to save her the shame of coming to court, which is like a really weirdly gentlemanly thing to do for a rapist.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal. Still, it's assault, but I think it was kind of lessened because of all the confusion.
Yeah.
But still, like, I don't want her to be embarrassed having come into court and to face the fact that she forgot she wasn't raped. It's like, so I'll just say I assaulted you. Okay. Sounds like a fair deal.
But does he get charged for that?
He lost his job as an Uber driver, but he did get given a
How do you lose your job as an Uber driver?
5 minutes self-employed.
He sold his car, is what we're saying.
Yeah. He did get given a $300 good behaviour bond for a year. Don't know what that means.
$300. You lost your job, but it's $300.
Well done, you're fine. You didn't. She remembered.
You could buy 4 beers.
It's all fine. And lastly from me, I got sent this advert as well, so a little bit of audience participation.
Okay.
I'll send you the link for it, but it's basically the benefits of portable oxygen. And this is the statement. So it's one of those oxygen tanks you can carry around and breathe into. Oxygen provides many benefits. Yes, it does. And now, with portable oxygen concentrators, you can reclaim your freedom and independence. And it basically goes on to say how important oxygen is.
Really?
Yeah. Capable of oxygen 24/7. Good.
Okay.
I mean, that's useful. Go into the car, but remember to bring your oxygen. Good advice. Take a weekend trip to see a family. You can bring your oxygen with you. Comes with a carrier bag. Oh. Comes with additional accessories. Carbon monoxide, nitrogen. I'd like to have an portable oxygen thing.
Didn't you used to work for someone that did that?
Briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked for an oxygen
Until you discovered the perfect scream.
Yeah, I just started screaming because I thought it would be funny. And it was funny.
Yeah.
And I got fired. But it was temp work. And it was the worst temp work I've ever experienced. Which was literally like, put these files in order.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I digitize them? No. Okay. So what's the point of this whole thing? I'm just going to scream.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you'll probably get to a point where you'll start having oxygen all the time. More so than you already do.
What do
you
you
know
mean?
It's like 100% oxygen. Like you know, like athletes sleep in oxygen tanks.
Well, yeah, it's a higher dose of oxygen, but not pure oxygen. You'll die.
Well, yeah, maybe at first.
Maybe first you'll die.
Then you'll come back.
But, yeah.
Yeah, but you'll build up until... I mean, you need oxygen, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it makes sense. If every problem in the world was solved, then you could start giving people extra oxygen.
Where the fuck has this come from?
Yeah, I got emailed. The guy found this image, this advert funny. Of like, oxygen provides many benefits in China. And it was just for an portable oxygen thing. For people with breathing difficulties, I imagine. But it's like sleeping now, because I've got a sleep apnea machine, which does like, it's like CPR, it does constant CPR, which just shoves air in your mouth.
Right.
And it's like... But like that, I can't imagine sleeping without it anymore, because it's like, oh, it's so good. I imagine you could probably get that all the time. And eventually it becomes more and more easy to do. We just have oxygen all the time. You ever had oxygen in your nose, like when you doctors?
No, never been on any of that.
Yeah, I've
stuff.
done that a few times.
Yeah,
it's like surgeries and stuff. They give you like extra air. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I just show up. They just
get me some air.
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think more oxygen, more for equality.
Yeah, I was watching this video not long before you got here, and apparently with it was something to do with deep sea divers. If they send you down in like a submarine, they apparently they can't mix when you're under high pressure. Nitrogen reacts badly or something, so they use helium instead. So when you go like down in like a tiny submarine, you end up with a tiny squeaky voice. And this guy was down there, and he called his wife at like midnight because he was on the other side of the world, and she didn't know who it was, and she phoned the police.
There's a high-pitched man phoned me.
She thought it was a dirty phone call.
Classic dirty phone call, high-pitched voice.
Yeah. What are you wearing?
It's one of the sexiest accents in the world. Fish accent.
Yeah.
Submarine accent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Helium instead of air. Maybe that'll be the future. It's a non-renewable resource, apparently.
Helium?
Yeah, it's going to run out.
Oh.
And people are like using it for party tricks.
All the balloons will just...
Yeah, but yeah, it's like coal. It's just, no, will just run out.
Yeah.
And apparently it'll run out in our generation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's no more helium.
Yeah, so...
No more diving.
Yeah. No, and they used to use this stuff for balloons. Now we can't dive.
Yeah, now there's no more balloon, no more space exploration.
But at least Johnny got his floating snake balloon or whatever the fuck.
I'd always rather not have balloons. There's never a situation where I prefer to have a balloon. I'd prefer to have a quesadilla.
I'd rather have a balloon if I was in a hot air balloon.
Why?
Because otherwise I'm just in a
basket.
basket.
Not an extra one. Not like an extra one. Oh, this is good.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to get, the only time I remember getting them was when I was at the fair, and in fairness, they didn't have helium in them. They were just on a stick. So it was just like they're in the air.
Balloon.
Yeah. And they put like little balls in them so they'd rattle or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun times. All right. Lazy week again, just one of these.
Steve's collection of useless meanderings. Scum.
In 2014, a group of embittered singles reserved all the odd-numbered seats at a cinema's primetime screening on Valentine's Day so that couples would be forced to sit apart.
That's pretty funny.
It's funny, but it's like, okay, so we're this sad. We're all going to get together, right, Barry, you two, and
we're just happy. This is an expression of joy. I fucked with all of you.
A conglomerate that fucks with happy people.
Yeah, it's not even like a dick move. Hey, you can still see the film. You can still sit next to each other, just with one space in between. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, you can sit next to, Kyle. And Kyle can sit next to your wife.
Yeah. And if your relationship doesn't survive it, we've done you a favour.
Yeah.
I wanted to see. What was it? I think it was us. We went to go see in the weird Indiana Jones film.
Oh, yeah.
And the skull or something. And we got there and there were like no seats together.
Yeah.
So it's like some of us sat over there.
We were
like,
scattered all over the place. But we could still hear you laughing from everywhere.
I'm like Dolby surround sound. Yeah, we just sat. It was a weird experience.
Yeah,
it was
it's
odd.
strange. Like I remember I went to see a film and there were no seats. Like they'd sold all of them. So I sat on the steps. And that was an odd experience to pay £15 to sit on the stairs.
Yeah.
I could have done that at home.
My favourite thing at cinema when I was a kid was to crawl up the ramp that goes to the screen. Because like when you were kids, no one gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Like it's like, are we going to see the Rugrats film? The kids are bored, so just let them crawl in the front.
Yeah.
Now I think it's bad. But when I was there, I was like, this is the best thing in the world.
You like not allowed down there. Yeah. I remember we used to fuck around in there before the film started and stuff, throwing sweets and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a stupid thing because cinema sweets are like a very high priced commodity.
I never was aggressive towards any other members of the audience until I became an adult.
Yeah, I remember you strangling some kid.
Strangled someone and then screamed at like a gang of 9 kids during Batman Begins. Yeah, because they were talking through the trailer, and all that was a perfect scream. Yeah, right, because that was like all I said. I can't remember what I said, but I was like something along the lines of "Be quiet." Yeah, but not in that posh way. Yeah, it always came out a bit South London. So yeah, you just it wasn't anything insulting.
You were very stern and just were essentially just shut up.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
And they left.
Yeah. It was so perfect. They left.
Look, we're not capable of living up to this man's expectations.
But it was pretty intense because like during the trailers they were talking constantly, and I'm like, it's trailers. It's fine. You can talk during
I want to watch them, but it's fine.
I would prefer if you didn't, but it's a trailer. We all didn't pay to see the trailers. Yeah. And then like during the first couple of minutes of I think it was like "Be quiet" or "Get out." I think
that was it. That was it. Yeah.
But it was yelled.
So they got out.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I'm so... one, when I'm loud, it's quite loud. 2, when I'm screaming, it's quite screaming. But the thing I didn't realise was my accent comes out when I'm angry.
You go London, yeah.
Yeah, so like... And it's because we're in Stoke. Yeah. We weren't expecting this weird, aggressive accent out of nowhere. No. Just screaming at them to shut up or get out. Yeah. It's like, I'm not saying that you need to behave yourselves. I'm saying either you will shut up... or you will get out. And they just chose to leave. Like, okay, fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, the strangling guy was fun.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, you kind of...
They punched a ticket machine afterwards.
They did. They were very angry boys.
It was fun. It was hilarious, though.
Well, they were yelling at your mate who was in a wheelchair. Well, they were having a go at her or something.
Yeah, I was dating someone and they had a friend who was in a wheelchair, so we had to sit in a certain row. Yeah. And the screen was empty. But these 3 kids, like 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, topless,
drinking,
crates of cider, decided to sit in front of us and just talk throughout the whole thing. Yeah. And then, it was like, fine. But yeah, then they told the wheelchair person to go fuck themselves, and then my actual friend was like, you know, can you guys please be quiet? They told him to go fuck himself. Yeah. And I was like, well, you can shout at the disabled. I'm not a direct friend of that person, but I'm a direct friend of this person. So I grabbed them and just picked them up by their neck. Yeah. But it was the move. I love films so much that like
that I'll strangle people for it.
Yeah. But just little movie moments happen in my life, and I'm always appreciative of when they do. It's great. Like when I got hit, I was on my motorbike and I got hit by a truck. Yeah. And I was veering off the road because I was at a standstill. I got veered off, and my brain went, "You need to get away from the bike." That's the first thing that jumped in your head, because sometimes if you're on a moving bike, the wheel will cause the bike to spin around and hit you. Right. Even though I was stationary, so it wasn't applicable. But yeah, my brain said, "Get away from the bike." So I did like jumped on top of it and then like backflipped. It's like not really a backflip, but just this is the only way I know to get off a bike. I've seen it in Commando.
Ta-da!
Yeah. And shaved my kneecaps. And then in that one, in the cinema strangling, I was telling him, like, you guys really need to shut up and you shouldn't talk to people that way, whatever. Yeah. And he said, like, mate, we're not looking for any trouble. And I said, not in the best Arnie accent. I don't think I even did the Arnie accent, but it was something along the lines of, what trouble's been behind you running out of popcorn? Their looks were like, is this the film or is this the film? But like, they're not looking for trouble. Like they were throwing big cans of cider around the place and shouted at people. It's like, yes, you're looking for trouble. You just weren't expecting for a big trouble to be behind. It's like an empty cinema.
Fucking hell. Right.
Wolverine, I think that was, wasn't it? It was Wolverine.
Yes, it was. The first one, the crap one.
Yeah, and it happened during the helicopter crash. So afterwards, during the helicopter crash, people were like, that helicopter crash was crazy. I was like, helicopter crash? Do you mean the choking of the kids?
No.
Yeah. They weren't kids. We've said kids. Yeah, they were just younger than us.
Yeah. And to put it into context, we weren't like 30-year-olds beating up 16-year-olds.
Yeah,
like
you 21.
You were 21.
Yeah, they were like 18 or something.
Yeah. Anyway, during the Battle of the Bulge, German troops who could speak English were airdropped behind Allied lines while wearing American uniforms to cause confusion for the Allies.
I don't know why, but it just sounds like they went, do you speak English? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Go.
What is this?
Just talk to him for a bit. Okay.
I love dancing the hurdy-gurdy. Who the fuck's this guy?
What's up with Fritz?
Yeah.
Freaking out.
Fritz Smith.
Yeah. Must have been such an unrelatable time, like the 40s.
Yeah.
Because everything was so not right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just, yeah. I mean, what would you do now? Send a tweet?
Yeah.
In English?
Yeah.
Like, no, the levels of the amount of work involved in everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that chocolate was like a rarity during World War II, whereupon soldiers had it and they would give it out to people. Oh my God, it's chocolate.
They made chocolate that was so insanely bitter, so the soldiers wouldn't be driven to eat it. So they would just eat it in emergencies.
Put some horrendousness in.
Why not just give them butter or something? That's like high calorie, like that's what you're going for. Why do you have to give them something that they're expecting to be nice and make it horrific?
Yeah. But just the effort. I mean, people complain about their work job now. Imagine if your job said, by the way, we're going to throw you in front of machine gun fire, and you've just got to go over there and calm everyone down with the perfect scream.
Yeah. If only you'd been there.
The image. There's a few things that have tickled me for a while, and one is I think Eddie Izzard. He did an interview recently, and I forget how much I love Eddie Izzard. And it's just like, I think one of his jokes was, he said on his political campaign was, a xenophobe is just a racist with a xylophone. it's just keep on reminding me, so I keep on remembering it pretty regularly. It's like, that's pretty funny. Yeah. It's just the dong 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 dong. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a second half to that. I don't remember what it was.
To
whatever I was talking about.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on.
Yeah.
More bee news.
Bees.
Honeybees make decisions collectively and democratically. Every year, faced with the life or death problem of choosing and travelling to a new home, honeybees stake everything on a process that includes collective fact-finding, vigorous debate, and consensus building. Debate. Well, Dave saw a begonia in the east, right? Yeah. But all I'm saying is one begonia doesn't mean there's loads of begonias.
Meanwhile, there's a German soldier dressed as a bee. Airdropped in. Like, there's a bee corridor being built in London. I suggest we go there. I'm very sorry. Buzz. That's a little tough.
Get everything perfect. The uniform, like he's mastered the accent. Like he dyes his hair brown, so not to seem suspicious, blonde hair and blue eyes and all
He's
that.
learned how
And then
to-
parachutes down as a great big German flag on his parachute. It's like, shit.
It's always the little things that you
Yeah.
forget.
It's in details. It's in the details.
The bees are killing him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's meant to be quite smart. Again, they've got community. Again, I wonder how much of it is just that's what they've interpreted. It's not actually. What's
Yeah.
How do you know that a bee's taking a census?
Having a debate.
Like, yeah, you can understand, like, this bee has danced to that bee, and now they're both flying to the same, and now that bee's
That's the
flying to
thing,
where
you're-
they told them.
You're applying our systems to what they do. But I guess in a sense, maybe it looks the same. It's like, well, everybody that wants to go east, stand over there. And everybody that wants to go west, like me, stand over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I was thinking, like, clipboards. That's what I associate with the census. Just a bee with a clipboard. I was thinking about the other day how dated clipboards have become. Because it's just iPads now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few things. I mentioned Star Trek last time, and this guy, Captain Chris, they had clipboards on the Starship Enterprise.
Oh, no. No,
And
no,
you're
no.
like, at the time, you're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. That obviously they're very organized. They've got clipboards, and then you go like, now you go like, any clipboards don't exist anymore. You never really see them in places.
I
They're like notepads, journals.
Yeah, I use some at work. I only ever see them in
You
like
use them at work.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. They're still good for making notes and organizing stuff in warehouses and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But on a spaceship, you would... And that's the other thing. I haven't watched any of the new ones, but none like the more modern Star Treks have Wi-Fi.
No.
Like, because the association was always you'd have to plug something in.
Yeah.
And like most of Star Trek's like, well, I picked out this weird block and I've put it in another weird block. And that's how things are done.
Yeah.
There's an android in Data in Star Trek: The Next Generation works on a computer using fingers. Like, why are you doing that? Just plug in. Ask Siri. I mean,
Yeah.
I can type really fast. Yeah, but not as fast as you could think. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's things that you don't really you don't really conceive as a possibility.
Yeah, it's things that is so beyond your realm of conception.
Although they were quite good at that. Like Isaac Asimov, he's a sci-fi writer, and apparently he was constantly like coming up with things in his books that later became like a reality, and not like little things like a TV remote, but like big kind of concepts that then science then went on to be like, actually, we've got a way of making that work.
Yeah, and I bet there's a little bit of to and fro where it's like, all you need is an idea to work on in order to create something that exists. I mean, what's the Star Wars holograms? Like, they can do them, but people are like, why?
Yeah.
What's the point? Why not have a projection?
Yeah.
Why do I need to have a 3D
I
projector?
suppose it's seeing where things will where things will go. Like people are always wondering like what's next for a phone? Like what can you really do next? And
You've seen that
in sci-fi stuff, it is always the fucking hologram on the hand shit.
Yeah, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
Why would I ever want this?
Yeah.
It's so strange.
I want to
But
be
it's like, ooh, it's
separate
futuristic.
from it. I want to be able to leave my communication in the other room,
Yeah.
not have it embedded in my fist.
Yeah. Have you seen that the other 20% of adverts that I see are for a projector for your phone or your laptop, purely so that you can watch Netflix on your ceiling. And they're like, oh, I really need this. It's like, I can't think of anything worse.
So you lie down.
So you lie down on
watching
your
stuff?
bed and the projector just projects it onto your ceiling so you can watch television like that.
Oh
this is
my
great.
God! Why? No.
Don't understand.
The more the older I've gotten, the more I've appreciated. Since we've had our own place, the value of separating the purpose of a room. So if I'm going into the bedroom, all I'm doing in there is going to sleep. I'm not watching shit. I'm not putting a TV in there. Like I'm not doing that stuff. And I think there's a lot of value in that. I think it keeps you more focused.
Yeah, there's more purpose.
Yeah.
You've gone into your bedroom to sleep.
Yeah.
So you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's same like eating in your living room or in your kitchen. I've noticed that if I just start eating only in the kitchen, I'm a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
Just because I don't like, I just leave it there and
Yeah.
there's chaos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't think of anything worse than staring up at the sky and watching something.
No.
But no, just put it on a telly and sit on a sofa.
Yeah, grow up.
Shut up.
What, yeah.
Grow.
What? It's just what. I think a lot of people say like I need this without actually thinking.
Yeah.
Do you actually need it?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I need to have basic sex with somebody, as conversation we had before.
Yeah.
I need to have a 3D projection of Princess Leia.
Yeah.
So, okay, why can't you just watch it? What's wrong with 2D for an image? Just chill out. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 3D films. Like,
yeah.
They that was a fad. Yeah. Like, they're still kind of about. But
yeah, they kind of work. They're kind of all right. But then it's just going to be what the new thing's probably going to be that integrated reality stuff. Where it's like you put on a headset and the film's just happening around you and you kind of watch it. That'll be the next dimension or whatever of film and television. Yeah. I don't know if it'll work. Might be interesting.
Be stupidly difficult to film.
Yeah. But the cameras will change.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not the camera, but the fact that, like, with every scene that you see in a film, there's 1,000 people standing, like, directly, like, watching it.
Or you just walk in, file in beside them.
So yeah, the camera, like, everyone's just, like, just got a duck.
But that's the next thing. I think that's what people want.
I think it's going to be like an immersive experience, and there are ways. Like I watched a short film that someone had made, and they didn't use they didn't use it like one of those cameras, but they did it. They did have a thing with sound. So there's these kind of headphones, I think, that Sennheiser do that have got really good microphones on the outside, and they just had the actress wear them, and then her hair was over them, and they made a horror film where everything that she could actually hear, you could hear. So they actually had everything acting out around her, and it's like 3D sound, so it's all surround and everything like that. And if you mix that in with like that kind of visual thing, like I can imagine that being incredibly immersive. Well,
just say you had a room that you could just go into, and like that holodeck from Star Trek, which is like all these projections happening, and you can walk around the room as a scene is unfolding. Yeah, and you just get to see it from every angle you could possibly want to. Yeah, seems like that'd just be a digitized script play. Yeah, organized.
Yeah, but would you feel like a tourist?
Maybe, but the same thing is like when you look at when you had video on your phone. Yeah, you'd be like, oh, that'd be strange walking around with a window. You're like, no, but you get used to it. Yeah, it'd be strange. Yeah, those things that your brain just.
Plus, everybody would always crowd around the best bit.
Yeah, but then it'll be all personal eventually. Yeah, you just do it by putting on your headset and then walking around your living room.
Yeah, yeah,
it just kind of happens.
It'd be like what the fuck was that film that you didn't really like with all the 80s references? It's the Spielberg one, Ready Player One.
Oh, I never saw it. Just didn't like it.
Oh, did you not?
No, I never saw it. Simon Pegg was in it. It looks like it'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. He made a very good film out of a very mediocre book.
Yeah, it was just the trailer just looked like, yeah, we get it. It's the 80s. Yeah, we get it. I get it.
But it's a Spielberg film, so it's like, well, it's going to be good in some respects.
We get it. It's a shark. We get it. Your boat's small. We get it.
Yeah. All right.
Solitaire.
Every November in South Korea, there's a day of silence to help students concentrate on their most important exams. Planes are grounded, constructions are paused, banks close, and even military training ceases.
Yeah.
Close the bank. It's too noisy.
I'm trying to read Of Mice and Men.
Yeah. Planes.
Shut up. You're the reason.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. All right, I think we're back.
We're back.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
That's everybody shut up. Suzanne's studying.
Yeah. Turn off
the
that
entire
plane.
country. Just sorry.
I'm very sorry. Or just a really sarcastic. Oh, is it too loud? Is it? Should I turn off the bank? Oh, don't worry, Susan. The bank's off. Can you study now? Oh, there's a plane that's going. Oh, fuck off, plane.
Yeah, seesaw military activity, wars end for a day. So
no Germans parachuting. Not today.
No. And finally, a killer whale is a natural predator of a moose. Which took me a while to get my head around.
No, that makes it with moose crossing rivers.
Yeah, apparently, like they swim from like island to island, and whales just like welcome to whale country, bitch.
Yeah. Killer whales are pretty insane.
I fucking love killer whales, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and I like that to train their kids, they beat seals to death, and like there's something beautifully brutal about them.
Yeah.
Like, I love them.
Yeah, they live up to their killer name. They kill everything to make a point.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm still, I think, personality-wise, and obviously this is kind of a given, but I'm still so fascinated by my dog's behaviour.
yeah,
About, like, she's learned how to react in order to motivate me to do something, like to open up, to let her out in the garden.
yeah.
She's, like, got different types of barks, like Planet of the Apes. She's
Yeah.
slowly learning. But there's different types of growls that mean different things.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck do you learn this? Where does this happen? And it's just from watching and constantly trying to understand. Yeah, she constantly watches me and has no idea why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you letting me out? Maybe if I try this. Oh, he's moved a little.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out the world.
Yeah.
There's so many animals are like, this is just how the world is. It's
I can
fine.
tell that with my mum's dog. Like, you can tell when a bark is like frustrated or or bored or like angry or what the fuck ever. Like,
But like facial expressions and everything.
Yeah.
I've had it a few times where like they've met, say I've introduced them to somebody new, introduced my dog to somebody new, and she'll look at them and look at me and be like, should I protect this person?
Yeah.
What's going on? You can see her trying to figure out how that person will fit in our lives.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing, but it's
Yeah.
interesting. I wonder if killer whales do the same. This moose. Is this moose a friend or is it lunch? Lunch.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely lunch. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was this week.
Yeah.
It was all fun.
I'll be less annoyed and lethargic last week, although I think it's faded away
Yeah.
a little bit.
I am feeling the creative stuff the productiveness starting to come back a little. Like I started making a new video for a segment. That's progress.
Yeah.
More progress. And yes, the brain's starting to get back in the game. So yeah, hopefully more creative stuff. Potentially pro wrestling for you
Yeah.
in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Check that out.
No more ragbag.
Touch with other stuff. Yeah, it's alright, isn't it? It's alright. So I'm at Nick Snip.
I'm at Sing It Steve.
At Pulling Teeth Podcast.
At Pulling Teeth Pod.
Yeah. We're on Instagram, and we should have more videos on when this is released, because we started planning for it.
Yeah.
And that should be all good. And yeah, like shout outs, they've been quite fun actually.
Yeah.
I knew they were going to be quite fun, but
Yeah.
they've been more fun than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, good sport on Frank Burton anyway.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
a good
definitely.
podcast.
Yeah.
We're just pissing about.
Yeah.
And yeah, if anyone wants to do any more, it's just fun pissing around doing stuff.
Yeah,
So
100%. As long as you just don't be a bitch.
Don't be a bitch. We'll be fine. Yeah, it's all good.
That was 137.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See you next week.